Good morning, students. So in the previous video I had sent you about we had dealt with jaundice, where we have seen what is jaundice. So jaundice is nothing but yellowish discoloration of the skin and mucous membrane that usually occurs due to the increased level of bilirubin, and this is usually done, and where we have seen different types of jaundice, causes, signs and symptoms, diagnostic tests as well as management of this jaundice. So now we'll continue with the class. So we'll start with the next topic, that is Indian cirrhosis, Indian childhood cirrhosis. Okay, we'll start with the next topic, that is Indian childhood cirrhosis. So what is this Indian childhood cirrhosis? So Indian childhood cirrhosis is a disease which mainly prevalently occurs in the Indian infants and children. Okay, so Indian childhood cirrhosis mainly occurs in the Indian infants and children. Okay, it mainly occurs in the Indian infants and children. So it usually occurs between 6 months to 4 years. So it usually occurs between 6 months to 4 years. It is a progressive disease. Okay, it is usually a progressive disease with abdominal distension, irritability, unexplained irregular low-grade fever. Okay, unexplained irregular low-grade fever, and then hepatosplenomegaly will be there, as well as ascites and jaundice. Okay, ascites and jaundice. So what is an Indian childhood cirrhosis? Indian childhood cirrhosis is usually a prevalent disease that usually occurs in Indian infants and children. So this usually occurs between 6 months to 4 years of age. So this Indian childhood cirrhosis is mainly associated with abdominal distension, irritability, low-grade fever, hepatosplenomegaly with hepatic failure, ascites as well as jaundice. So that is usually about this Indian childhood cirrhosis. It's a prevalent disease that mainly occurs in the Indian infants and children. So this usually occurs between 6 months to 4 years of age. So this is usually a progressive disease with abdominal distension, irritability, irregular low-grade fever, hepatosplenomegaly with hepatic failure, ascites and jaundice. So next is causes of this Indian childhood cirrhosis. So this Indian childhood cirrhosis, this is a disease which is mainly prevalent all over the India, because the name only suggests Indian childhood cirrhosis. So therefore it is prevalent in India. Mainly it is like male children are more affected, like 4 times more affected than female child. First born child are at a risk of developing this type of cirrhosis. Okay, first born child are at risk of developing this type of cirrhosis, and this usually occurs. The main cause can be if they are boiling milk in the copper utensils. Okay, if they are boiling milk in the copper utensils, this is the major causative factor for this Indian childhood cirrhosis. Okay, this is a major factor for this Indian childhood cirrhosis. Then it can occur due to use of any agents, like other agents such as hepatotoxic agents or metabolic effects. Due to hepatotoxic agents or due to metabolic effects such as disturbed lactose metabolism. Okay, due to disturbed lactose metabolism, or in case of zinc, copper, magnesium metabolism, if there is disturbed in the lactose metabolism, zinc, copper metabolism, or if there is any immunological disturbances, or in case of genetic factors. Okay, or in case of, it can also occur due to genetic factors, or in case of nutritional factors, if the baby is suffering from malnutrition. Okay, the baby is suffering from malnutrition, and this can also occur due to if the baby is suffering from any viral infections. Okay, if the baby is suffering from any viral infections. Okay, these are usually the causes of this Indian childhood cirrhosis. So Indian childhood cirrhosis, it is a disease which usually occurs in the Indian infants and children. Normally it occurs between 6 months to 4 years of age. This is usually a progressive disease with abdominal distension, irritability, low-grade fever, hepatosplenomegaly with hepatic failure, ascites and jaundice. The causes, it is usually seen that it mainly occurs in the Indian population, and in this usually the male children are more affected than female children, and then it is usually seen in the first born child are usually at a more risk, and this usually occurs in the low middle class family population who are low middle class family. And also this is usually the main causative factor for this Indian childhood cirrhosis is that if we boil milk in the copper utensils. Okay, if we boil milk in the copper utensils, that usually leads to this cirrhosis. The other, like they might be having some toxic effects. Okay, they might be having some toxic effect. So that is usually there, and it usually occurs in some of the hepatotoxic agents, or due to metabolism it is not done properly, like lactose metabolism it is not done properly, zinc copper metabolism it is not done properly, or in case of immunological disturbances, okay, if there is any immunological disturbances, or it can also occur due to genetic factors, or it can occur due to any nutritional factors such as in case of malnutrition, or if the babies are suffering from any viral infections, okay, or if the babies are suffering from any viral infections, so that time usually they can occur with this Indian childhood cirrhosis. So this is usually about this causes of Indian childhood cirrhosis. So next is pathophysiology, how it causes. So this usually occurs due to any liver cell damage, okay, it usually occurs due to any liver cell damage, and that usually causes degenerative changes occur, okay, that usually leads to any degenerative changes, okay, it can lead to any degenerative changes, and that usually in turn leads to necrosis of hepatocytes, okay, that in turn leads to necrosis of hepatocytes. So that is due to any liver cell damage, okay, due to any liver cell damage that usually leads to degeneration, and when there is degeneration it causes necrosis of the hepatocytes. This necrosis usually leads to fibrosis as well as Kupffer cell proliferation, okay, this also leads to fibrosis, or there will be Kupffer cell proliferation, okay, Kupffer cell proliferation. So this proliferation occurs when there is excess amount of copper, okay, if the copper is not metabolized properly, that time this proliferation can occur. So normally this usually leads to, so that is usually about this pathophysiology of Indian childhood cirrhosis. So that is mainly due to any cause, okay, any liver cell damage, due to any liver cell damage that usually leads to degeneration occurs, and due to this degeneration what happens it is that it usually leads to necrosis of the hepatocyte. This necrosis leads to fibrosis as well as Kupffer cell proliferation. So this Kupffer cell proliferation occurs when there is excess amount of copper. If it is copper is not metabolized properly, that might lead to production of copper cell protein, okay, that might lead to production of copper cell protein. So that is usually that might lead to this cirrhosis. So that is usually about this pathophysiology of Indian childhood cirrhosis. So next is signs and symptoms. So what might be the signs and symptoms for this Indian childhood cirrhosis? So what are the signs and symptoms? Mainly the baby might be irritability, okay, the baby might be irritating too much, then appetite will be disturbed, abdominal distension, as already told in the definition they will be having abdominal distension, constipation will be there, and the stool will be like chalky type or pasty type, okay, the stools will be like chalky type or pasty type, and few cases diarrhea can occur. Fever also will be there, but the fever will not be so severe, but it will be mild, and then growth failure will be there in spite if the baby is taking good diet, okay, in spite if the baby is taking good diet, growth failure will be there, and also after one or 2 years of the disease, okay, after 1 or 2 years of the disease, splenomegaly will be there, hepatomegaly will be there, jaundice can occur, portal hypertension can develop, okay, and also hematemesis will be there, ascites can develop, or thrombocytopenia can develop. So it is after 1 or 2 years of the disease, okay, after 1 or 2 years of the disease, the baby can develop hepatomegaly, splenomegaly, jaundice, portal hypertension, ascites, thrombocytopenia. So that is usually there, and also at last it can lead to hepatic failure also. The baby can develop hepatic failure, and this occurs within 6 months. Okay, this usually occurs within 6 months. So these are usually the signs and symptoms of Indian childhood cirrhosis. What is that? If the baby will be irritable, mild fever will be there, and also the abdominal distension will be there, appetite will be disturbed, constipation will be there, and the stool will be chalky or pasty, and diarrhea will be there, and also progressive growth failure will be there in spite if the baby is taking good diet, and after 1 or 2 years of this effect, if this disease, the baby develops hepatomegaly, splenomegaly, thrombocytopenia, ascites, then usually they will be having hematemesis also, they will be having jaundice can develop. So that is usually the thing, and lastly they can have hepatic failure within 6 months. The hepatic failure can be occurring within 6 months. So this is usually the signs and symptoms of Indian childhood cirrhosis. So next is diagnostic test. So diagnostic test, what we have to do, we can go with history collection and physical examination. Then we have to go with blood test. Okay, they have to go with blood test. So the liver function test has to be assessed. Then we have to go with checking the prothrombin level. Okay, prothrombin level should be assessed. This prothrombin level will be prolonged. Okay, the prothrombin level time will be prolonged because so that is prothrombin level will be, time will be prolonged. Okay, the prothrombin time will be prolonged. Then we have to go with mineral test. Okay, we have to go with mineral test, especially we have to assess for the copper. Okay, especially we have to assess for the copper and zinc level. Okay, copper and zinc level, because if at all, if it is not metabolized properly, okay, if at all it is not metabolized properly, then you can see traces of large amount of this. Okay, you can see the traces of large amount of this in the mineral test. So then we have to go with cupriuresis test. Okay, we have to go with cupriuresis test. So this is done after giving oral medication of D-penicillamine. Okay, this cupriuresis test, it is done after giving oral medication of D-penicillamine and urinary copper. Okay, urinary copper. So by this we can assess the ratio of copper and creatinine level. Okay, we can assess the ratio of copper and creatinine level. Okay, after giving this medication we have to assess the ratio between the copper and the creatinine level. So this is the diagnostic test that usually we go with giving. So that is blood test is done, liver function test we have to go with doing, and in the blood test we have to go with assessing the prothrombin time, so which will be prolonged, and then we have to go with mineral test, that is copper and zinc level should be assessed, and then we have to go with cupriuresis test. So this is done after administering the penicillamine orally, and then the ratio between the creatinine level as well as the copper level will be assessed. So this is usually about this diagnostic test. So next is management. So what are the management that we can go with this? So management, it is mainly improvement is spontaneous. Okay, improvement is spontaneous. So it is usually improves automatically, improves automatically. So then we have to go with giving them D-penicillamine therapy. Okay, we have to go with D-penicillamine therapy. This is used as copper chelating agent. Okay, this is used as copper chelating agent from liver. Okay, so D-penicillamine therapy should be used. Then we can go with corticosteroids and gamma globulins can be given. Okay, corticosteroids and gamma globulin can be given. So that is usually given mainly, this is given mainly to treat secondary infection. Okay, this is usually given to mainly to treat secondary infection. Then supportive care has to be given, like bed rest should be given, proper diet should be given, personal hygiene should be maintained, skin care should be done. Then we have to give, like, proper care should be given to the babies. Okay, proper care should be given to the babies, and then health education should be given to the mothers that breastfeeding should be continued, it should not be stopped, and the milk should not be boiled in the copper vessels. Okay, the milk should not be boiled in the copper vessels. Instead of that, they can use normal vessels like steel vessels or aluminum vessels, like whatever it may. Not only milk, food, water, nothing should be boiled in the copper vessel. Okay, nothing should be boiled in the copper vessel, because the copper traces can be increased. Okay, the copper level can be increased, and that might lead to the production of protein, copper protein, and that might lead to this cirrhosis. So therefore they are not supposed to go with using this copper vessels. So that is usually managed. So management is symptomatic. We can go with curing them secondary infection, like giving D-penicillamine therapy, as well as corticosteroids and gamma globulin can be given. Then we have to like health educate the mother to breastfeed the baby, not to boil or cook in the copper vessels. Then supportive care has to be given, like proper bed rest, personal hygiene should be maintained. This is usually about this management of Indian childhood cirrhosis. So in this topic we have studied about Indian childhood cirrhosis. What is Indian childhood cirrhosis? So this is usually occurs between 6 months to 4 years of age, and it usually a progressive disease with abdominal distension. So this is usually a progressive disease with abdominal distension. They'll be having abdominal distension, irritability, low grade fever, hepatomegaly, as well as with hepatic failure, as well as jaundice. So this is usually about this. So in this video we had studied about this Indian childhood cirrhosis.